Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. And today our guest is Dave Franecki. Thanks for being on the show, Dave.
Hey, Whitney, how are you?
Doing great. Yeah. Thank you again for your time, Dave. And Dave is a national speaker in the Note RE community on real estate notes. He's hosted a panel at the December PHX IMN convention. Also hosts a local Note meetup, Note Investors Forum over the last 4 years. So Dave, give the listeners a little more about what you're up to or your background, and then let's dive into a couple of skills that you have that I know everybody that's listening is going to benefit from.
Okay. So I've been in the real estate game since the late 70s. And what I found was the biggest roadblock for me was money, lack of capital. I've done the credit card thing. I've done the banking thing. I don't want to do that. I've done hard money, but by far the easiest and most reliable is developing that know, like, and trust with people, just your network and networking. So with the meetup, I've had that now for 4 years. I'm getting most of my money from that. It's really a matter of just raising your hand. So I do it on an educational format. And then at the end of the meetup, I ask for the sale. Part of this, when I have my product, I market it through MailChimp. So I've got a pretty large database on LinkedIn, 4,000 or 5,000 names. So just using that, it's taken a long time to figure it out for me, but this is working. You can, with a know, like, and trust, people will go with you first, even if the rate isn't there, because they know you and you know you can get the job done. That's been my experience. And Whitney, you've been at this too for quite a while. What have you seen?
Yes. So, meetups, I have not had a meetup myself personally, but I know lots of people that have. Obviously, I've been to hundreds and spoken at many of them, and it seems like a great avenue. I've debated about starting one myself, but I'd like to, I guess, ask a little more questions about, you've been doing it 4 years, and maybe for the person that's listening, the listener that's thinking, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm ready to start a meetup or not. What did your first meetup look like compared to, say, a year later compared to now?
First meetup was at the wrong restaurant. Everything I did wrong, but I had 20 people.
Wow.
And I got a boost. It was well promoted. I also called some of the other meetup hosts in the Note world to see what they're doing in terms of advertising. They mentioned Facebook, which I'm doing also. And it was really about education and how I can help them. And then as it grew, and so for the first 5-6 months, I didn't ask for the sale. I waited too long. But I developed that loyalty, if you will. One particular gentleman, and now he's selling a parcel in Mexico City that he had from his great-grandfather. He's going to be getting $2 million out of that. I'm the first person he went to. And then he had a lawyer friend out of Guadalajara. The Mexicans are moving their money out of Mexico because they see it going the way of Venezuela. So they're looking for a home in the U.S. Wow. So going back to your primary point, it was just know, like, and trust, promote. How can I help you? You get them educated, and then when they come back to you, they parrot back to you what you already taught them. So I'm not there to grab, I'm there to help. And what can I do for you? And then slowly move it into the pitch, if you will. But again, I believe in the soft sell. I don't believe in a cram down. And I think a lot of people run from that if they're being pushed real hard. That's my experience, Whitney.
Yes, I like how you mentioned you gave it many months, before you really go to a sale. Or I mean, for your selling, and at the end, you're asking or you're promoting your sale. So in an educational format. So you're there to help them. You're answering questions, and you're developing the relationships that are so crucial before somebody's going to invest with you. No doubt about it. And so, how have you seen that meetup grow, though? From the beginning to now, is there, has it grown? Has it been the same people? Do people come and go? What's been your experience?
Actually, it grew really well until ego got in my way. So a year ago, I got it up to 60 people and we maxed out the room. And I had pictures of Note Investors Forum, which shows people literally out in the hallway. I thought, oh, okay, I can move this. So I moved to another venue and changed the day. Huge mistake.
Mm.
So after 3 months, I moved it back to my old venue, different day, lost half my people. So now I'm rebuilding it slowly.
Wow.
So it's just, it's experience. It is what it is. But I'm finding it's not so much the number of participants, it's the quality of the participants and what you can get out of it. So this last December 4th, we had 25 people there. Okay, it's good. But of those 25, 6 were new. And they're going to be buying notes. And frankly, right now, I've got more people lined up to invest, not just to buy the notes, but to invest one-on-one, because I'm not doing any kind of PPM or anything like that. It's all one-on-one loan agreements, if you will, not joint ventures. I'm finding it's working well, but I've got $2 million sitting there if I had the product.
That's a good place to be in.
Yeah. So then for me, though, people don't want to let their money sit and, get yield drag. So you really want to utilize it. So I'm out there, but I keep in communication with them. They keep coming to the meetings, and I'm there as a helpmate. That's just so important. They're using me as a sounding board, as a consultant. And you're a sales consultant. I don't care what you're doing. Just like what you're doing right now, you're a sales consultant, right?
You're always selling.
Yeah, you are. But
No
you've got
matter
to
who
do
you
it in a
are.
way that you're helping, not a cram down.
So tell me about how you're selling. I know you're waiting till the end. You waited till you develop trust and those relationships, and you're probably even doing it in a way now that it's not even like you're selling. But how do you promote that note at the end, or so it doesn't seem like you're being pushy.
On the front end, I'll talk about what folks should look for in a note, and all the variables, or why I won't invest in this state or that state, or whatever state, what's good, what's bad. And then at the end, I'll put up 3 or 4 products that I have with all the analytics on that note, whether it be ITV, investment to value, or loan to value, or that type of thing, interest rate, and why it's so good. And I say, this is the commercial now at the very end. Now, also a few months ago, I tried something different. It worked wonderfully well. I said, okay, now guys, you've been coming here for quite a while. There's a reason why you're not stepping up to the plate. If you're interested and you really want to go further and do more than just the returns on an individual note, check with me at the end of the meeting, and we can have I'll be happy to meet you for coffee at Starbucks. And that worked well. And then I did it again the next meeting, and it worked even better. So now I got the money, so I'm backing off. I'm just selling on, focusing on the one-offs, but it's waiting there. And then the people are calling me, what's going on? We want to put our money to work. I said, I'm looking. Wow. I'm not going to give you junk.
Wow. No, I like that. You allowed them a moment or a time to schedule time with you personally, one-on-one.
Absolutely.
And I can see how a lot of people would be more comfortable with that.
Right. So it's casual. I'm going to call it loosey-goosey. It's professional. I come across as a professional. That's what I've been told. And it's like, hey, I'm looking out for your backside. And sometimes I'll shoot them a spreadsheet and I'll say, I think these are good, but here's what I like and what I don't like about them. Now you tell me. So I want to make sure they're all in. And even if they're not in, they get that I'm careful at what I'm doing. So it's all about preservation of capital. And that's a real key. So that people can get drunk on yield, but it's all about if I'm going to get my money back too.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Very important. And so, raising money through this meetup, I think, it's neat, like to hear your success at this. And even that you tried changing it and changed the date or the time of the week. And that really, just messed it up.
It did.
But now, have you contemplated even doing a different meetup, maybe in a different location or town or even in the same city, to have 2 going at the same time?
Probably not, but what I'm really so the answer is no directly. But what I'm doing is I have to get off the couch at night and go to other meetups and source people and promote what I'm doing and have them come to mine.
Interesting. Okay.
So basically I'm in my own little sales mode of promoting who I am and what I'm doing, whether it be selling a note or selling the education and bringing the people there. So I'm going to other real estate meetups through my RIA, which may or may not be the best place, but any place I can go to promote and get my name out there. The IMN panel, like you mentioned, there's a noteworthy convention in February there. It's really about branding. Part of that too is, as I mentioned on the front end, is YouTube training videos, no different than what you're doing with the podcast now, establishing yourself as an expert, just putting it out there and directing them to my website. Again, it's about who is Franecki, why is he good, how are we going to win, can we win together?
Okay, so here's the simple truth. If you don't have private investors waiting on the sidelines right now, you're going to have a hard time closing your next syndication. Are you afraid to talk to investors? Do you feel you have a lack of credibility, or no one will take you seriously? Or what about your systems? Do you have anything set up yet? Well, if you know you can improve on getting in front of and influencing passive investors, then you should call my friend Adam Adams. Adam has a proven system for you to flip the script. Now, this is a 5-figure investment for you to take your business to the next level. I want to see you succeed, so I placed a link in the show notes for you to apply to work with the Adam Adams. And if you think you qualify and you know you're going to take action on what he teaches you, then scroll down, find the link, and take your money-raising abilities to the next level. Wow. Okay. So it's neat to hear just your success through raising capital through a meetup, and how I just appreciate how you elaborated on growing the relationship and the trust, and even many months before you ever put out a sale, and the things you've learned. But you also have a list, an email list that you've grown, and I would say is pretty large compared to most people's that aren't doing something, just crazy online. Or like myself, but like you are, you've got a really good list, and I'd love to hear more about, with many thousands of people. So I'd love to hear more about how you've grown that list and some of your techniques.
I started with LinkedIn 3 or 4 years ago, and there's several firms out there to help you to build your LinkedIn profile, if you will. And I still do that. So you want to come across a professional there, and then just start pinging the people. So it was a mentoring type thing, and I got a lot of people that way. And then other than that, going to other conferences and just networking there. And then again, networking in Phoenix. So just A gets to B, gets to C, gets to D, and just the normal referral networking stuff. But Facebook, I'm not the guru there. I'm not really sold on that, although I do have my VA, setting that out there. But the LinkedIn, I think, is key for out of state and for in-state. But it's promote.
Can you kind of walk me through a process of maybe how you would find those people on LinkedIn or connect with them that are going to be the best contact for you?
Go into different groups there, and you can automate that and just filter down from the profession to the location or whatever, and just ping them. Hey, let's be friends, or let's join together, and then just start working that back and forth and just building that list. Then I just exported it out into my MailChimp and just keep pinging them. It's not, I am not the LinkedIn expert, but have you ever heard of the name Yakov Smart?
I haven't.
Okay. He's a LinkedIn professional. I'm working with him now to build my base more. So I'm not answering you directly because I'm not real good at that. I just did it for a while, and it worked. I built it up, and then I just kind of play with that right now. So I'm not out there trying to build to 10,000 connections at this point in time.
Yeah, but are those the connections that are now like on your MailChimp list as well?
They are. Yes. And then the Phoenix group, I go to the local ASREA here, and they have the haves and wants sessions, and then they send you the email back with all those people on that list. I add them to the MailChimp.
Just when you go, they send you the list?
Yeah. Wow. And even if you don't go, because I'm a member, I get the list.
That's valuable.
They'll have the Phoenix Real Estate Club and the ASREA. They join twice a year, and I'll get 100 leads out of each of those every time.
So,
but the other thing though is I also blog on my website. Okay, and I take that link from my Capstone site, I put it into Facebook or wherever. So that's establishing my presence. But to that point, I had a guy from Hawaii call me a couple years ago. He bought 3 notes from me. He didn't know me from Adam. But and then I do a lot with Note School and Eddie Speed. So I go to those conferences. So a year ago, there was a couple there. We had a good time. They bought a note from me, no big deal. And I saw them again this past November. And we were just chatting. And I said, this is what I'm doing now with raising money, raising capital to buy tranches of notes. And I explained to them what I'm offering. They said, we're in. Just like that. $100,000, just like that. But what's even funnier, they said, we don't really care we care about the deal, but we trust you. And that wasn't a salesy Dave Franecki. I'm just being Dave. So it's all about being yourself and just being straightforward and being the expert.
So what have you seen as being the best to raise the money from, let's say, the Meetup, or from like growing your MailChimp list and through MailChimp and sending emails like that? What's been the best use of your time spent?
The Meetup and going to the conferences. I am sure I'm underutilizing the LinkedIn. I am positive of that. It's just that I just haven't gone there because I don't relate to it that much. But I do relate to the one-on-one. And you're going to laugh at this, but of my generation, we're more one-on-one than the millennials. You're more texting and online and stuff like that. It is what it is. But one-on-one, if you develop your skills, you're good. Also, to that point, if you're going to be putting on a LinkedIn, or I'm sorry, a Meetup or anything like that, develop your speaking skills. I joined Toastmasters. I did Dale Carnegie way back in the day, but develop so that you're comfortable within the setting. If you're comfortable, people will be comfortable with you. I'm not a jokester. I'm not a real funny guy, but I just lay it out. It's who I am. So I guess the bottom line is just be yourself and relate to the people. Relate to an individual in the audience, and you'll draw everybody in because you're just a guy. I don't know if that seems so simple, but it's all for me. It's what it's been about, Whitney.
No, I can relate to that, and I haven't joined Toastmasters, but I've heard other people talk about it, and maybe it's something I should consider.
Yeah, I mean, you're well spoken, but I was on a speaking tour of another when I was doing MLM in the mid 90s after the Resolution Trust. And that was good for me. So with the Toastmasters, I joined 2 groups here, and I was with them for about 3 or 4 months. I thought, okay, I'm good to go. I got my edges worked off. I'm ready. But it was good. It's a good experience. And frankly, sometimes with the Meetup, you're there the day before. I got to put together a PowerPoint. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. Then you get in the front. It's like, wow, the lights go on and you're just on. So it's kind of like an adrenaline rush for me.
For sure. Dave, what's been the hardest part of the capital raise process for you?
Giving away too much money. In other words, there's a lot of money on the sidelines that would be happy with 6 or 7%. I guess it's hard for me to relate just paying that because I'm used to getting a lot more myself. So I'm generous with what I give out, but I have the flexibility. So it's really about not giving away the farm. And for that, I've got to get inside of a different pool outside of the real estate networks and get into the doctors and the dentists network. They will settle for a lot less. That's my next challenge that I'll win with.
Nice. I think that's a challenge all of us deal with.
Right.
We want to give the investors as much as we can. We want them to want to come back, but honestly, if you condition them to too much, it hurts you in the long term.
And I concur. And I think in my own way, I think that's where I am, and that's okay. It's got me where I am right now, but I've got to twist it a little bit and develop that new pool or the additional pool. Also, I'm at the point where I'm charging administrative fees on the front just because I do have overhead. And that's not part of the deal. It's just an expense as far as that investor is concerned. And I don't want to get into the specifics in terms of what I do just because of just because you understand that.
So what's a way you've recently improved your business, Dave, that we could apply to ours?
I'm just doing the same thing over and over. But beyond that, it's getting off the couch and getting more active, interacting with people, because you always, you might push yourself out there, but then people fall back to their old ways, because I'm basically an introvert. It's like, okay, get out of your shell, get off your butt, and get out there and do it. I mean, it's just, old is good. You just have to keep tweaking it as you go, because old is working for me. When I say my old model, my old methods.
What's your best advice for caring for investors so they want to come back to your next deal?
Communicate.
How do you communicate the best with them?
Okay, I'm doing a couple things. One, I've got my assets listed on Podio. And of course, they're a part of that. So I'm giving them links to their assets so they can go in at any time. I'm sending them a monthly overview. So I'm paying them monthly because we're getting paid monthly. So I send that in check with a breakout from the servicer, and then just notes. And then if we have a problem asset, which I have a couple out there, I'm calling the people more, because what I found was they said, well, you're not communicating. Well, I said, I have nothing to talk about. So with this last gal, I said, hey, we've got a breakthrough. We're going to get it done. She said, I really appreciate the communication. If you communicate, they're with you. If you don't, then they're wondering.
So what's the number one thing that's contributed to your success?
Being honest and straightforward. Look them in the eye. Teach them. I think that's the biggest. And then, success breeds success. Others will refer others to you. It's a snowballing effect. So I don't think it's anything magical. I'm not a big $10 million fundraiser. I'm just me, and I do what I want to do at whatever point of risk that I go to. Oh, the other thing is it seems like the investors that I'm working with are Dave Franecki, because like attracts like, same thing.
And at your meetup, you've educated a lot of them as well.
Exactly. And here's another story too, Whitney. There was a party who came to my meetup. He had a pretty good chunk of change. And I shot him a note and whatever. And he was really, really detailed in what he was doing and almost nitpicking. I thought, if he's doing this on one note, what's he going to do with if we're in 10 or 20 or 30 together? I was like, nope, not going to go there. That's trouble. And so to your other point, follow your gut. If it doesn't feel right with that person, don't do it no matter how much money they got, because they will be trouble later.
I agree. Well, before we have to go, Dave, tell us how you like to give back.
I give back by helping others. And in one way, this is personal, if you will. So 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I beat it homeopathically. So there's a lot of video series out there on fixing yourself that way. I got into Ayurvedic medicine, with a doctor there. So then I bought some video series on that. Whenever I hear of somebody having challenges physically, I bought that series just to give it to them, give it to the other folks. If I can be helpful to them and save their life or do that, I will do that anytime. That's my favorite.
Wow.
And then maybe it's not as big as going out and doing charitable events. That's just not me, but I'm more one-on-one.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. And I just appreciate you sharing about your meetup and how you've grown that and really stepping out, even though, you said you were an introvert, and learning to speak, and how you've grown that know, like, and trust there, and how you've been able to raise a lot of capital through that and growing your MailChimp list, your email list as well. But Dave, tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about you.
2 ways. You can go to my website, which is capstonecapitalusa.com. You can email me at dave@capstonecapitalusa.com. And you can call me, 480-232-5477. I'd love to chat with you. And I think that's pretty much covers the board there. But call me, email me. I'll get back to you. Love to talk. I don't care where you are, whether you're in Phoenix or whether you're in Timbuktu. Doesn't matter to me. And if I can help you, if you have questions about notes or starting a meetup, I'd be happy to share that with you also.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by Life Bridge Capital. Life Bridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. Life Bridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.